Chapter 25, Another Voice in the Storm. It is a joy to be hidden and a disaster not to be found. D.W. Winnicott. Healing happens in the most obtrusive ways. You never know when to expect it. It's like a thief in the night, something you can't anticipate the arrival of. I was preparing for a nice, steamy, hot Epsom salt bath. The bubbles I'd poured in now cascaded over the tempered water. I strategically placed my bath pillow just right so I could ease down into a blissful evening of relaxation. Before I stepped in, I placed my glass of wine, a large glass of ice water, my iPhone, of course, and my glasses beside me. I was ready for some downtime to myself. I lifted my phone and found my favorite game while detoxing in this humid heaven. I texted my friend to tell her that the bath pillows we'd ordered together were just perfect and I was using mine. I nudged her to use hers as well. I started playing my game and my right hand was cramping up a bit. It did that often, but this was a very different feeling. I started getting this feeling that it was heavier and heavier. Soon, it was so heavy that I had to give in to the feeling. I put my phone in the other hand and dropped my hand into the water. Bingo. My bathroom had now become the bathroom in the old motel room in 1968. My mind's eye flew open. The window of the memory had started with that body memory. I didn't realize what my hand was telling me until I was instantly back in the motel room. Plain as day, I was there again. I could see all of us there. Dad, Craig, me. But the woman had already been murdered and was missing. The room was full of chaos, and they were moving about quickly, but not orderly. Dad handed me his knife. It was heavy. That was the heaviness that was in my hand. The odd thing about working through tragic memories is the way they come back. It all makes sense to you when you educate yourself about them. The body keeps the score, and the heaviness in my hand led me back. With the knife in my hand, which makes no difference anymore, except to explain the weight in my hand, Dad told me to follow him into the bathroom. I didn't want to go because they had placed that lady in there. I opened my eyes, or were they shut? I wanted to pull myself out of that bathroom and to stop watching in my mind's theater, but now I was urged back, so I continued. Craig was in the bathroom, and the lady was in the bathtub. The water was running over her neck, and they had her head laid back, sort of in a cocked, weird way. It was laid back so far, it was like a fish head that had been cut off, but not all the way, and it just kind of flopped back. Her head just shouldn't be in that position. It shouldn't look like that, I literally said out loud. My mind raced as I watched it again. I started crying rather loudly and intently. The scene played out with the water running over and over her neck. It ran until the blood seemed to be washed away. By this time, my husband heard me gasping with struggle from the other room, and he walked into the bathroom to ask me what was wrong. I told him I was okay, that I was just seeing something. I tried to catch myself, wind it up, and be done. But I just continued to blubber quite loudly. I wanted him to just go away and leave me alone. The troubled lines on his forehead outlined his fear and concern. "Jody," he said, "you are not okay." The persuasion of his face got me to get out of the bath. I didn't want to get out of my bath. It just took me 20 minutes to get the damn thing set up so I could be peaceful. And then this shit happened. I went into the back room with my husband and continued trying to process and get through the memory. It's an extremely unpleasant thing to do. My husband, of course, wanted to just get me back to a better place. But as we watched TV, it became clear to him and to me that you just don't wrap up one of these flashbacks like a newspaper wrapping up an old dead fish carcass and toss it out. It isn't that easy. Oh, I got through that night, had another couple glasses of wine to still my mind and my nerves, and then went into a fitful night's sleep. At 4:30 a.m., I was woken to deep trembling and severe body aches. I saw myself lying in bed that night after the murder in the house on Delaware Lane. The light from the moon was coming through the window, and I couldn't quit shaking. I shook so bad that it felt like my head was going to wobble right off my shoulders. My body had been shaken in fear and pain before, but this crazy head shake wasn't something I was used to. Now I was scared again because I didn't know how to stop it. It felt as if my head wanted to wobble right off.